Congratulations. Let it be known. Today, we again look back at some of the stories that have made 2022 one of the most interesting years, not only in America, but for African Americans. Also, just thought of a candidate for Fool of the Week. I got to talk to Barrington about that. But first, and in case you missed it, some sad news. Joseph Joe Mersa Marley, the grandson of reggae legend Bob Marley and son of Grammy Award winner Stephen Marley, has died at the age of 31. He was born in Jamaica in 1991, and he moved to Miami at the age of 11. He attended Palmetto High School before enrolling at Miami Dade College, where he studied studio engineering. Joe Mersa was exposed to music at an early age while being raised by his father, Stephen, one of Bob's 11 children who followed in the late reggae superstar's footsteps. After beginning to write music in middle school, Joe Mersa released his first song, My Girl, a collaboration with his cousin Daniel Bambaata Marley in 2010. In 2014, Joe Mersa dropped his first EP titled Comfortable. His latest and second EP, Eternal, was released just last year. The Black Press remembers Joe Mersa. Joining us this morning is Oshia Boyd from the Indianapolis, goodness grief, recorder? No. Star. Why do I know why I get it mixed up. And Dr. David Childs from University of Northern Kentucky. Good morning.
Hey, thanks for having me.
As much as though she is with us, you would think that would just roll off the tongue by now. But anyway.
That's okay. That's okay.
I look at you and I say epitome of Black Press. And so I think of recorder.
Thank you.
There you go.
You. I'm okay with that.
Look at
I'm
that
okay
recovery. So we begin, of course, another morning of stories of the year. But you know what? Before I forget, and I should have mentioned this pre-show, but I got a candidate for Fool of the Year. Barrington Salmon is going to join us tomorrow, and he's going to tell you who his Fool of the Year is for 2022. But this morning, before we came on and got together, I was looking at an Instagram post by Mary Lee Holmes, the estranged wife of ABC Good Morning America's TJ Holmes. And she posted a photo with her daughter. And I mean, beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And she just posted simply that she was exhausted. TJ Holmes is a fool. I'm taking a page from Barrington Salmon, and I'm just going to call him a fool. Yeah, he cheated. That's horrible enough. That makes him a fool in itself that he cheated. But my gosh, I mean, anyway, this for that. As well. I gotta get it off my chest because it's not cool to cheat in any circumstance, no matter what the person looks like, whether you committed to that person, you spent all these years with that person. But my goodness, I just looked at Mary Lee this morning. And I said, and Amy is cool and all. I mean, I actually used to work at MSNBC when Amy was there, and I thought she was pretty cool. But my goodness, Mary Lee and her daughter are just two beautiful souls right there. And I just don't know what was in TJ Holmes' Kool-Aid. Goodness grief, other than Jungle Fever. But that's it.
What's the saying? Leaving the 95 for the 5%.
Oh my goodness! I mean,
now that's Mary right there that we're looking at.
Yes.
We're looking at Mary.
Yeah.
Yes, that's Mary Lee.
Yeah.
And TJ.
Yeah.
And
this whole.
Go ahead, Oshia.
Oh, this is just a mess. I don't even know how come we're in it. Like all of a sudden.
Well,
I don't watch morning TV shows, so I didn't even know who he was. And I was like, who is this guy and what's going on? And then it just became a total mess. And then I had to read and I had to watch.
Yeah. We don't do gossip at the Black Press, but this here, this is just, it's awful that they carried on this blind side in both spouses. I feel bad for
Yes.
her husband, Amy's husband as well. I think this is like the third. If she does go through with the divorce, this would be her third or fourth divorce or something like that. His third.
Oh my goodness.
So I guess
because he's been having affairs all along at work, right?
that
This is not his first
apparently,
time
according
having
to
a
the
work affair. Yeah.
it's
What's
awful.
going on with TV? Morning TV is not as innocent as it portrays to be.
Well, here's the problem. I'm gonna tell you the problem. The problem is this. So they work so close together. ABC is sending them on trips together. They're doing these special reports together. They're going to these remote locations. They're spending too much time together. Work is work.
Yeah.
And it should be left there. But most people, especially in this industry, they have a hard time leaving work at work.
Right.
And so an opportunity presented itself. Say again, Oshia.
They took work spouse to the next level.
They took it to a whole nother level.
I don't like the concept of work spouse. That's problematic too. I explained that to my wife.
I agree.
I explained that to my wife one time because she hadn't heard of it. And she said, "What? What did you say?" I said, I know it's a mess.
Look, David Youngblood said he said, I told you about that tree trunk men in splinters yesterday.
Yeah, I know that was
I guess there's a lot to that, David. I guess there's a lot to that. They are. Joni King says they're out of control, and they are. Listen, Oshia, let's get to you forget the fools of the year right now. But let's get to the stories of the year. What you got, Oshia?
Well, I was thinking, as I thought about this last night, definitely Brittany Griner. Abortion, Supreme Court ruling up on abortion, especially particularly here in Indiana, since we were the first state to jump on and change the law regarding abortion, pretty much ban abortion. And then I was thinking, if this airline situation doesn't improve, it's going to be probably the biggest story of the year. The last few days with Southwest.
Southwest.
Right.
I am not flying Southwest Airlines.
Right.
I was thinking this might come out the front runner by the end of the year if it doesn't improve. And I do fly Southwest, and my daughter's actually flying Southwest home. So go back to college, I should say. So I'm thinking, please be done with this before she goes back. Please.
But Oshia, I'm not seeing any reason. Even the Department of Transportation said they don't see any reason for this. What have you heard?
No, other than they are saying that they just didn't uphold their standards, and it just didn't. And the CEO said it was unacceptable, and I couldn't understand what he was saying was unacceptable. The weather or their response to things, or what exactly did he mean? It was very unclear what he meant. And I'm just very disappointed that this was it's been allowed to go on the way it has. I mean, this is just like, I don't even understand. I'm just, I'm flabbergasted by how you have to spend the holiday in the airport. You can't find your luggage.
They were kicking people out. They were kicking people out of the airport. They were arresting people who refused to leave.
People have medicine. Right. There's a lot. People have babies. There's a whole lot going on that people need their luggage for. I always tell my daughter, always take some personal items in your carry-on because you never know what could happen. You might lose your check bag. So keep a few personal things in there. But you're going to take the majority of that stuff in your check baggage. You're not carrying on everything. So this is just, I don't know how they got to do some serious work to dig themselves out of this hole because the trust is gone. The trust is definitely gone.
The brand. It affects the brand.
Yeah, well, it is. I mean, every other airline. At first, you thinking like, okay, this weather situation last week was just horrendous, and so you kind of understood at first. But all the other airlines are flying around and doing, they're getting people from point A to point B. And here, Southwest stranding everyone. And still, as we speak.
Right.
Well, they got rid of their customer service, right? So you can't reach a person. They did that like a couple months ago. So now you have a situation where people are calling and they're being on the phone. I know someone person who's on the phone for hours and hours, and then when they got someone, the call dropped. They had to start back
Oh
over, and then
gosh.
trying to and then trying to rebook a flight the last minute. You're looking at $1,500 and a
Mm,
ridiculous amount of money. So yeah, this is horrible.
good night.
Wow.
That's where you're ready to go John Q. Public on them. Um, so, Dr. David Childs, this is I mean, I've never, this airline situation, I've never seen anything like it. I personally, maybe we'll get a sponsor. I fly American Airlines all the time. That's my go-to. I got my points. I got my Admirals Club and all that stuff. I'm down with the cause for American. American, come join. Let it be. But what you
Yeah.
got,
Hey,
Dr. Childs? What you got?
Yeah, I got a couple. This Kim Porter situation, the ex-officer that was convicted in fatal shooting of Dante Wright. They only gave her 2 years in prison.
Yeah. Uh-oh, I think we lost
did we
Dr.
just
Childs.
lost him?
But yeah, that is tragic. 2 years in prison is tantamount to just. I mean, they might as well have just went to the family and said, you know what, that life didn't mean anything. 2 years. It is
Yeah.
absolutely ridiculous. Well, as we wait for Dr. Childs to come back, I want to go back to one of your topics, Oshia, Roe v. Wade. It was a historic, of course, and far-reaching
hmm
decision the Supreme Court
hmm
made back in June, declaring that the constitutional right to abortion upheld for nearly a half century no longer exists. And as you said, Indiana was they was the first state to hop aboard and start with the restrictions or the banning
Yes.
anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. We had a special. Our legislature had a special session, which lasted, I believe, about 2 weeks, and to change the law to make it pretty much virtually impossible. Where there's still some exceptions in there, but not enough for people who are saying that this is a healthcare issue for women and the babies, the fetuses they're carrying. So then we had that right before we had that 10-year-old girl who came to Indiana from Ohio who was pregnant, and
Hmm.
our paper broke the story, and we were accused of lying and making up this girl, and the attorney general has been after this doctor ever since. The AG, Tyrell Keita, they've been in court as of recent. They've been in court because she sued him and he sued her. It's just been a mess. It's been a mess. And our session starts back up in January, and I don't think done. I think it's still going to be an issue that people are going to talk about because there's a lot of healthcare issues that people are saying that stem from this. That many times those who are anti-abortion don't really recognize or think about. It doesn't really
Hmm.
matter to me. It doesn't matter where you stand. It's more about, okay, it's not about you. It's about what's going on with this woman's body.
Mm.
And I've just been reading too about there's a lot of stillborn black women we already have a high mortality rate, especially here in Indiana. We have a really high
Hmm.
mortality rate in Indiana, infant and maternal mortality. Then I just read recently about black women in general also have a high stillbirth rate, which I didn't even know that was the case. So there's a lot that we need to talk about when it comes to um, maternal health, and
Well, one
abortion plays
thing,
a role in that.
yeah, and one thing, David Youngblood points out, which is so true. Because of that, we had, as what David says, is a Roe-vember. Uh, this whole idea of a red wave was quickly washed away when Democrats grabbed a stranglehold on the Senate. They didn't lose as many House seats as many thought. In fact, the House is almost evenly split. I mean, Republicans will have the
Hmm.
majority, but by barely, and a lot of
Right.
that is a tribute to the unpopular Roe v. Wade decision by the Supreme Court, the conservative Supreme Court. Dr. Childs, you were mentioning Kim
Yeah.
Porter.
Yes. Yeah. The whole Kim Porter, the ex-officer convicted in the fatal shooting of Dante Wright, only sentenced for 2 years in prison. It was less than what the prosecutors requested. and it's a part of the whole narrative. I mean, not the whole narrative, but the issues we've having with unarmed black men continue to be killed at traffic stops. And it reminds me of, I have a teenage son. What I was saying was I have a teenage son, and we had an officer follow us home. Actually, we were coming from church, and he followed us home and blocked our driveway. And asked my son, at that time he was 12 or 13. My son's a big kid, and asked my son for his ID, and he was in the passenger seat, and in the driver's the passenger side, and was asked my son for ID, and I had to de-escalate the officer. I said, "Excuse me, my son's a teenager," and so it showed me how quickly the officers are trigger happy, and it's open season, as many have said, it's open season for black men, and there was just a case where it could have been us, and they what gets me in this case with Kim Potter is she's supposed to have wanted to grab her taser, but she accidentally grabbed her gun. You know, do you have any training? You know, it's just crazy. And then she got 2 years. So
yeah, I always wondered too, Dr. Childs, and what you've seen in this, and maybe even Oshia can weigh in on this, the taser and the gun. What's the feel on each? Is there a different feel? I mean, how is that a mistake?
Well, I mean,
I'll just
go ahead. Yeah, please go ahead.
There's a difference. There's a difference. There's a difference. They carry them on a different side. There's a difference, right?
Weight wise, right? I would imagine
when it first happened. When I first read about this, they are trained to. So I don't know how she was confused. I don't know how someone who's trained to do this for a living is confused. I mean, we always hear about the job is so hard for police officers.
Right.
They're under so much pressure. They chose this job. They chose this job. No one forced them to become a police officer. And you're talking about de-escalating. There's always this thing of police escalating, and we have to be the ones to have the cooler head.
Exactly.
We're civilians. We're civilians.
We're
are not trained. We are not trained. And to block your driveway, to ask for your son's ID, we know from studies that black children are looked at, especially black boys, are looked at as older. Well, both black girls and black boys are looked at as older than they are, and so they're treated as this. What happened to all this training, all this trying to do better in 2020? We haven't seen much progress in 2022, and going into 2023, nothing's really changed.
Yeah, as I have continually said since the George Floyd situation, I think so many dropped the ball. You had the momentum, and I think that I know that they allowed the momentum to drop, and this is in all facets. This is with lawmakers. This is with Congress, of course, the Senate, the president. This is with businesses. This is sponsors. Everybody. They let people. We as a black community let people off the hook.
Yeah.
Well, we got the House Reps Nancy Pelosi kneeling in kente cloth as if that's something that means something performative. We accept this performative crap. You know, we had Representative Clyburn wanting to have a song. You know, that doesn't actually that's not substance. That's substantive. That doesn't mean anything. But we allow these things as if they mean something.
Yeah.
So here we are.
Yeah, I just think we had an opportunity to put our knee on their neck, figuratively speaking, and keep the pressure. And I think black people in general are probably I probably get some slack for this, but probably the most forgiving of all people. And
you better not get slack, because that's the truth.
It's the truth. And especially with my other one I was going to mention, Stacey, especially with the Buffalo shooting. That was one of my top news stories from this year, May 14th, the Buffalo shooting. They targeted African Americans. There's this notion that African Americans are criminals, that we need to be put in check, that we need to be policed more so than others, that we're automatically a threat. And we have the rise, we have more white supremacist groups ever before in history, more so than the time of all of the lynchings that took place in the 20th century. We have the rise of white supremacist group. And then there's a narrative that it was the older generation, that the young people are starting to get it. No, these white supremacists are young people in many cases. And they are targeting us, our people. That's why I appreciate the black press and black news, because we gotta keep on sounding the alarm. And let Coombs know that it's a real problem. We got these people in the media, these folk in the media.
He didn't go there, did he? Oh shit.
He did.
Let people know, because you got people out there saying there ain't no problem, there ain't no racism. I was in a debate with somebody, with an African American that I knew, and they were supporting nonsense, as if African Americans are the problem. But we have things like this, and then it quickly go. I wanted to bring it up because it quickly goes out of the news cycle, and people forget. We have this public amnesia. But I remember, it reminds me of during the Trump years. I live in Ohio. We had people, and I teach in Kentucky, Lord help me, and we had folk rolling down the street in their monster trucks. We had the white guys with Confederate flags driving slowly past my house. And I live in a mixed neighborhood. We have, I have African Americans, and we have people slowly driving down. I was at the gas station when shortly after Biden was elected, or the time when the gas prices was going up, and this trucker was over there swearing and using profanity. And I was like, who is he talking to? He was directing it towards me. And I made out what he said. He said, this is because you voted for Biden that we have these high gas prices. And then I ignored him like I'm used to doing. And then he slowed down.
It's all your fault.
And got closer and said it to me again. This is the mind of hostility.
The audacity of it all.
Yeah. The hostility that we live in, this culture of violence against Black bodies. So that's what I wanted to bring up.
Violence against Black bodies, when we're told that we're the ones violent. If you look at American history, we are not the violent ones. But this story has been told over and over and over, and it's his story, right? It's not our story. Right. So we have been perpetrated the violent one. And we don't go around lynching people. We don't go around taking people's land. We don't go around, genocide. We don't do that. That's not our thing in this country. But yet and still, the story has been told that we are, first of all, if we're lazy, we don't want to work, then how do we do so much work? How do we build this country? How are we so violent? It's lazy and all these negative stereotypes that we have that are still here, that we still live in a country that's anti-Black. And I often write about this anti-Blackness, and I get a lot of pushback that it doesn't exist. But I'm like, I'm sorry, whole life I exist. And I have a lot of ammo in my arsenal. I have a lot of research under my belt, so I know it exists. But we, to go back to your point about forgiveness, we forgive all the time. Wasn't it the man, the Haitian man, whose brother, who accepted? Oh yeah, I couldn't think of his name, but his brother automatically. I mean, and then the church.
That was
everybody's
just
forgiving off as soon as it happens. The Lord told me to forgive you. No, he didn't. No, he didn't.
He went over to her and hugged her after she was found guilty.
Oh, it was sickening to me.
I couldn't understand that. I'm all for forgiveness. Gotta be for forgiveness. However,
at some point, but immediately, no, come on.
I mean, this was, you killed my brother in cold blood, and immediately I'm embracing you. Right. You didn't even ask for the forgiveness. That was the thing. You didn't even ask. I mean, not that. Again, look, I believe. I totally believe.
Put that down.
But this was, she's still maintaining her innocence.
Well, part of the narrative too is that we have to protect white women. There's this. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. No, it's
white
almost
tears.
Tears of White Women. That's the last chapter in D'Angelo's book, White Rage, and I use that in my classes, and they hate that chapter too, because I have predominantly white students, and she there's this narrative that we're expendable and we have to protect. Like when I always say, you can watch the average film even to today. The African Americans are the first ones to be killed. The white woman is always the hero. In the end, everybody's got to surround her and protect her and coddle her. That's historical in this country. And so we have to forgive because we're so concerned about how she feels. You know what I mean? What about
what Oshia?
My
how
tears
you
mean
broke
nothing.
it down?
right?
You know how you broke that down, Oshia. The way you broke it down is exactly why I hate when I hear people talk about black on black crime,
Right.
black on
Yeah,
because it is a lot of reasons why I hate it, but the way you broke it down, it really helped to show y'all are the violent ones. So we have done some things to each other, but so have y'all done things to each other too. Every race of people.
But we do things to each other. You don't see black people riding up and down his street in monster trucks, and trying to intimidate people. We're not doing that.
Right.
We don't do that because we have enough sense to know that's not going to go well for us.
Well, first of all, they would get the National Guard.
It's not going to go well for us. But they're allowed to do that because it's okay for them because they're not seen as threatening to other people. It's just threatening us. It all goes back to historically what has happened to us, and this anti-blackness has always been in this country and keeping us in our places. And it's everyone's job to keep us in our places, and that's fine. America supports that.
And
don't get me wrong. You got me going today, Stacey.
and I agree with you, anti-blackness, and that's what I'm on that too. Doing that research to understand that because black folks are killing each other, it's a problem. We're the only one that's doing it. That's a trigger phrase anyway. Black on black crime, and as we know, no one ever says white on white crime. Statistically, the white people are killing more of each other than we are. We're not going into schools killing our own children. You don't hear a black man going into an elementary school killing, 25 elementary students. There's a lot of the mass shootings about white men killing other white people, but nobody ever brings that up. Nobody ever brings that up, and because it has a black face on it. It was Angela Davis. Her great defense in court was that that's what she said. And it's on. You can listen to the footage now online. She says we're not the violent ones. And Angela Davis says she grew up in a neighborhood that there were bombs going off every other day on her street from the white supremacists blowing up buildings and blowing up schools, churches, and everything. And she says we're not the violent ones. That's a narrative that needs to be corrected. And that's why I'm glad we're doing this. It needs the alarm needs to be sounded.
Well, when you look historically, the when things happen in this country, what Timothy McVeigh, you had all these things. That's not black people are not doing that. When you had the that took over the federal park, that wasn't black people. If that had been black people, we all know they would have been shot immediately and killed immediately. There would have been no negotiating and all that kind of stuff.
January 6th. January 6th.
The biggest example.
Yeah.
Right.
The biggest example. And now it wasn't an insurrection. It wasn't, the spin that started happening immediately, where at first you thought, there's no way they can deny this was an insurrection, an attempt at a coup. There's no way. And then you start seeing the spin. And then we have Republican lawmakers who are defending these people. The attempted kidnapping the governor Gretchen Whitmer in Michigan. Attempted kidnapping. And when white women aren't even safe, we got a problem.
And then the Biden's what happened at the who was the one that they got? There was somebody that went to somebody's house. I'm drawing a blank, and they tried to assault or kill somebody. The violence. Oh man, I'm drawing a blank. Recently.
Pelosi.
Yeah, thank you, Pelosi. Yeah. Right, Pelosi's husband. Yeah,
because they were looking for her.
Yeah, they were looking right. And if I was Nancy, if I was Nancy Pelosi and also the former vice president, they were. Let's remember the insurrectionists were coming for them. They had nooses. They were
coming for the vice president and Pelosi. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. And they try to spin that. No, they were coming to kill them. There's some crazy good old boys out there that were training on their farms. And
and some of them were military, some of them were police.
That's true. Yeah, I don't want to. That's right. I don't want to downplay that. That's correct. They were trained killers. They knew exactly what they were doing.
Yeah.
And
look at Mike Pence. He was actually someone they were targeting, and he's not even. He's like, oh,
he wanted them. He wanted them.
Yeah, but they were trying to kill you, fool.
And he had his family there, and he you know, his family was in jeopardy too, because had they got him, they'd have got the family too. And now he's saying, oh, leave Trump alone. There should be no prosecution. He's still protecting Donald Trump. Donald Trump did something that they hung Saddam Hussein for.
Right. Wow.
They hung him. They killed in the desert there. What's the other dictator a few years ago, not long ago?
Osama bin Laden.
It was bin Laden.
Not bin Laden. No. Goodness grief. Why is his name escaping me? I see his face. They brought him out of a tunnel. They Gaddafi. Thank you, David Youngblood. They kicked him, beat him, spit on him, and then finally somebody put a bullet in him when they got a hold of him. These are the things that Gaddafi was accused of doing and was murdered for. These are the things that Saddam Hussein was doing and was murdered for. It goes all the way back to Anwar Sadat, right, in Egypt in the 1970s. What Donald Trump did was what those dictators did, and everyone on that side, including the Pence, who was a victim, a potential victim, is protecting them still. The state of America, more than 600 mass shootings in 2022, right? The first time that in 3 consecutive years you've had 600 or more mass shootings, and that's according to the Gun Violence Archive. And we talked about the Buffalo shooting, the Robb Elementary School in Uvalde, Texas, Highland Park, Illinois, the Mall of America.
Right.
Everywhere you look.
Wow.
Mass shootings. And to your point, who's doing these mass shootings?
Right, exactly. And going back to Trumpism, let's not forget the reason why they voted Trump in, because they felt that minorities, Black, African Americans were getting too much power. And a lot of people voted for him because the legacy of white supremacy is a reaction to Obama. They thought, African Americans are getting too many concessions. This is a white world. Should be controlled by good Americans. When they say good Americans, they mean white folks. And when they saw that African American, then we got Ketanji. She's on the Supreme Court now. Everybody's really worried now. Justice Jackson. People are what they thought that we're getting too much power, and so that's why they voted a clown in office. He didn't know anything. He was the most incompetent candidate out of all of them. Faked his college degree and all that. But they didn't want to any more Black folks in power, and so it's a reaction to that.
Well, we've long said that.
Definitely.
Yeah, we've long said that Trump was a reaction to Obama, and we saw, and look at the reaction, and look how strong. Even when Trump lost the election in 2020, he got 75 million votes. Right. And you think about the harm that his administration, not just him, but everybody here, the school, that I don't know where they got her from. The former school secretary of education.
Betsy DeVos.
Right. They did so much damage.
Yeah.
The Department of Justice under Trump. He weaponized the Department of Justice. It was just so much damage that they did, and yet 75 million people. That's the second highest in history. Of course, the highest was Joe Biden when he beat Trump.
And let's bring it home.
It's
That's
just,
our neighbors. That's our neighbors. That's those living next door to us. Those that are shopping next to us. In every state, that 75 million is the average quote unquote everyday citizen, and our country has shifted. Well, I don't know. I think it's been there all along. They've just been emboldened.
Well,
it's I think those it's the quiet part that's out loud now. It's the, like you said, it's our quote unquote people who we think are friends or associates, that we talk to on a regular basis, that you start finding out, oh, you harbor these kind of feelings.
Exactly.
And it's this idea of why do they think that he's so brilliant, and like why do they and let's just also be clear, it's so many quote unquote Christians,
right,
who Christian, even I haven't seen anything Christ-like in this man. And so how are people so fooled and think that he's a better person? I just don't get the whole love. I get it, and it's based on whiteness, but then if it's based on whiteness, why so anti-Biden, anti-Pelosi, anti-other white people? Because it's just weird, this love for this one particular person. It's really sad that so many adults and again so many Christian evangelical followers are just falling for this. And it's like, are you not reading the Bible? Do you not know when you're being tricked? Have you not paid attention? All these things are it's just so strange to me that we're in this day and age where so many people don't even know American history. That's part of the problem. We don't know American history. We don't understand civics at all. We have very little, like when you said the man was saying this is Biden's fault about the gas prices. You don't know how things work, sir.
Right.
And most of us don't. And most of us don't know how things work. We just listen to a couple sound bites and then we're off. We're off to the races with that, and we form an opinion based on that. This is just I don't foresee it getting any better in 2023 right at all. I think Black folks better get it together and start reading and learning,
voting.
Because voting, but we also got to use our vote strategically. We can't just go out and vote. We have to understand who we're voting for and and we have to start making demands before we vote for them.
Wasn't that Ice Cube's point when everyone got on him about his contract for Black America? And that was, I remember him specifically saying that it wasn't about one candidate or another, because he says at the end of the day, they're all the same, but it was about making sure he wanted it in writing that you're asking for Black support. Well, here's what you need to do for Black America. And people got upset with Ice Cube, and you got a lot of who is even from Congress, members of the Black Caucus was like, he can't speak for Black America. And the thing about it was that might be true. And I agree, Ice Cube, but no one person can speak for me. They can't speak for Black America. However, the Black Caucus and nobody else presented any type of plan. Nobody presented. So he decided, I got a listening ear. He got a listening ear. He asked the Democrats for a listening ear, and he asked Trump for a listening ear. Trump sat down with him. The Democrats, according to Ice Cube, did not. And he presented his plan.
Here's my only issue with that. Here's my only issue with that is that while I appreciate that, why is it always that Black celebrities are listened to, but not Black academics, not those who do this for a living, not those that was my issue. It wasn't that it was Ice Cube, but it was why do they always have to go to our celebrities as if they are the Black intelligentsia? Not that Ice Cube's not a smart man, but we have people who do this for a living who this is what they know this, and so why not listen to those people?
Yeah.
That was my issue.
You expected a Mark Morial or a NAACP to be in that room making whatever contract offer or whatever you want to
Yeah.
call it. But then you got so many, right, that who are front facing, but people don't necessarily trust. How many really trust Al Sharpton? How many really
Right.
trust Jamal Bryant? Right.
Right.
It's a dilemma. But here's the other part of that too, right? Why is it that this is a question I have for myself, and maybe y'all can help me through this. Why is it that we look for, or at least if it's not us, it's other folks saying, okay, who's the black leader?
Right.
Why is that?
Yeah.
I don't hear nobody say they're looking for a Spanish leader or a white leader or a Jewish leader or
right.
Why is that?
Right. The onus for is always placed on us, placed on our shoulders, and when issues happen, America doesn't take ownership of it. They put it back on us. That's y'all problem. And so anytime you have an African American issue, it's a problem. It's problematized. So y'all need to find somebody to fix this. But you don't see that in other communities. I agree with you. And then sometimes we don't need one leader. We can have a coalition. That top down model is not always the right. We don't always need just another Dr. Martin Luther King. We need Mrs. Kings. We need a group of folks. We don't just need one person because one person may just be one idea, but we need ideas. We need people to come to the table.
I'm going to go back to what I think it was Ashia talked about when we were talking about Trump and about being Christian. If everyone was serious about being Christian, wouldn't we live in a better world?
Right. That's it.
Well,
now we talk about being a leader. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm. No, go ahead. You're gonna say something on point, and I was gonna go back to
when you talk about when you talk about being a leader. I think so often there's always been groups. One just kind of rises and it just kind of becomes where mainstream media pushes that one to the forefront. And I think and we often, it's hard work. Let's just be honest.
Yeah, it is.
This is hard work. And a lot of us don't want to do the hard work. Let's just be honest. We want somebody else to do the hard work, the heavy lifting. And that's not just a black person problem. That's an American problem. That it's like, yeah, I just want to live my life. I don't have time for that. And also survival, fear, putting yourself out there could mean death. There's a lot of things that come along with becoming a leader, and not everyone is built for it. So then you have, like, I believe it's always been groups of have historically, you have where here's the leader, here's the leader, here's the leader. Someone's been crowned the leader. We still have a lot of leaders. They're just doing things a lot of times behind the scenes. And they're not looking for that glory.
And I was going to add to this whole conversation about Christianity and the co-opting of the Christian right being named as the sort of Christian theology that's Christian. But I write a lot about unpacking Christianity from whiteness, from particularly white supremacy. A lot of people think the notion of Christian, when they conjure Christian in their head, it's white folks, and the African American Christian sometimes looks different because they are. I attend a historically black church, and our challenges are going to be different. we're dealing with food insecurity. We're trying to. We lost our Kroger, which is one of our big grocery store chains, so we have a food desert in our neighborhood. So we're tackling those issues. We're tackling racism. And a lot of times white folks have to think about the same things that we think about. So what I was going to say, the leaders don't have resources. A lot of times in order to get resources, some of those big names have had to compromise their messages in order to, to get that money to where they are. I'm not saying you have to compromise to get resources, but sometimes individuals will approach them and say, hey, here's some money, here's some resources. shut up, be the clown, be the coon, be the poster child,
There's that word again.
Those individuals. I know. I'm sorry. I'm just.
No, apologize.
I'm on one
It's
today.
fine by me.
Be the what's her name, Stacey Dash. Be the
Candace
individuals. Candace Owens. Yeah. Those people. We said this. We talked about this on a recent show. Those people are getting paid, and so a lot of times.
And we're also taught forgiveness.
Yeah, right. And the grassroots folks that are the leaders, they don't have the resources to be out front. A lot of times, but we do have leadership out there.
Listen,
just
oh Lord,
there he is.
there's one of the candidates for Fool of the Year, but just an update on one of the topics we talked about yesterday. George Santos is facing federal and local investigations. The New York Attorney General is investigating George Santos and that he's also facing a federal probe by the U.S. District Circuit in New York as well. So George Santos may not make it to January 3rd if this breaking news is actually accurate. So we're going to see what happens there. But that's it's another example. This guy here lied to everyone.
Yeah, right.
And then here's the icing on the cake. When he had claimed to be Jewish, he says, "No, I never said I was Jewish. I said I was Jewish."
Oh my God! and
I mean, usually somebody, a 6-year-old kid might come up with that one. Come on,
right?
Mediocrity, white mediocrity, and it's just allowed to flourish.
Yeah.
It's
just unbelievable.
And black folks, we got to earn all kind of degrees, and this is the guy that was faking his degrees and all that.
He fakes everything.
Yeah, we got to go to school and get real college degrees, and
we don't even know if he's real.
Yeah,
he can be a hologram.
Right.
And we got to go above and beyond the Call of Duty just to get a seat. And they get to lie and make up degrees. And how did he get that far? Everybody had to know. There's no way.
I mean, he said he worked with Citigroup and some other major company. Never did.
And how did he get? My question has been, how did he get that far? People,
because you
can't tell me. Yeah, you can't tell me people didn't. Right, I couldn't even get out the store, man. Hey, sir. They would pull my coattail.
He said I embellished a little. No, you lied. It was an embellishment.
He lied a lot.
And if he embellished means he might have said, "Oh, I have 40 credits" when he only had 39. He embellished that.
He didn't even go to the school.
He didn't
even apply.
He's not Jewish. He's just a little Jewish.
He's Jewish. Wow. I don't even understand that's just crazy. I just want to throw in here before we go.
Yes.
We finally got Trump's taxes, and we saw how much he paid in taxes.
Oh, and the full report comes out out tomorrow.
So the people that love him so much, first of all, he despises those people, let's just be honest. But you're paying more in taxes than he ever. What was it? $750 he paid in taxes.
And then when he was in the White House, he didn't pay any.
Yeah. Then he kept saying, "I'm not even receiving a paycheck." He kept trying to put that forward like he was some type of patron saint for not receiving a salary. I remember during that time, everybody was putting that forward. Oh, he's such a good man. He's not receiving a salary because he ain't paying no taxes. He already received the salary.
And he was making money off the White House.
Yeah.
He was making money off the White House in his business dealings. So come on. Hopefully some people the bunch will come off, because come on now.
Well,
$750 in taxes.
Look what Letitia James in New York has done. She brought that organization down. She exposed it. The Trump organization. She got convictions on their fraud. It's not a conviction of Trump personally, but it's a conviction of his business dealings, as you said, and his whole empire there that he built or didn't build. Somebody built it for him. but look, a black woman took down the Trump organization in New
So
York,
did.
right?
Nice.
So there you have it.
Stick with
Power
black
96.
women. Stick with black women.
There you,
Amen.
hey, listen,
Amen.
Oshia, we've been saying that on this program as
I
long
know.
as we've been on the air.
Yeah.
I know.
we definitely doing that.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know what Dr. Childs might be doing in Northern Kentucky, but we
Come
here.
on now. Stop. Yeah. I'm going on record to say I got a sister at home. That's why I'm smiling. That's why I'm smiling. I got to go on record and say it, you know.
Look, and then
I figured that out early, brother. We were high school sweethearts. I figured that out way early. So
David Youngblood mentions too that Fannie Willis out in Georgia is determined to put Trump in state prison. She has not stopped, and you know what? You can imagine the pressure, Oshia and Dr. Childs, that she has faced to get her to try and drop the Trump investigation there in Georgia. I mean, she got so much she's accomplished there. It won't surprise me if she, more than the DOJ, pursue Trump. I mean, she is pursuing him, but her prosecution will happen. I would guess her prosecution would happen more than I would the DOJ's. I mean, she's relentless.
right, yeah.
And she should be. She's not playing, as Greer says. She's not playing. She ain't playing. but
Yeah.
but we will see. But look, we appreciate y'all so much. Oshia has got black press in her blood. We love it. And Dr. David Childs, of course. But y'all gotta tune in tomorrow. I'm excited about tomorrow because I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what Barrington is going to come up with. Barrington Salmon, NMPA journalist, has been talking about fools all year long. Well, he's going to tell us who the fool of the year is tomorrow. So tune in to Let It Be Known tomorrow. This should be one of the highlights of 2022 is watching Barrington name the fool, because he's got a whole list and he doesn't stop. That dude is amazing.
There's so many. But I'm betting on Herschel. I'm betting on Herschel Walker.
Who you got, Dr. Childs?
Yeah, I was going to say Herschel. I'm trying to think of somebody else that's clown more than Herschel. No,
it's hard to come up with that one, right?
And I was so scared when they were. It looked like he shouldn't even got that close, and that's a whole. I know I'm bringing up another topic.
So maybe his supporters are the fools of the year. Who knows? But we'll see. So thanks again. Again, we appreciate it and look forward to tomorrow. Everybody have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow.
All right, thank you.